What's going on, everybody? Welcome in Fantasy Alarm live stream. I'm your host, Howard Bender. With me here tonight, James Grande. So, Brandon Marianne Lee, she woke up sick, got a little bit of the flu. It's been going around all over the place. So, um, we're being infected right now on our live stream because John and Pemba, who's producing, is coughing up in my ear right now. I think I might have cholera and influenza all in the same thing. James, how are you feeling today?
I'm good. I think we can compare this, John producing to the Michael Jordan flu game. Jordan had the flu, showed up to the game. John has whatever he has, shows up to produce. So, I think they're pretty comparable.
Yeah, I just listen, as long as we get like a little like antibacterial to spray all over the
Right.
keyboards and whatnot. So guys, here's what we're gonna do. James and I we're gonna because James has been neck deep in the NBA. We're gonna talk about tonight's football game. And we're going to give you a breakdown there. We're going to answer some questions that you guys have in the chat. Remember, we're on YouTube, Periscope, Facebook as well. So you can ask your questions. We'll get to them. But we're going to cut this a little short today, shorter than usual. We'll cut it off in about a half hour. And then I'm going to move over to the chat over in fantasyalarm.com. So you'll be able to catch me there. Maybe I'll even make an appearance on Twitter or something like that. God help me. So, James, talk to me here a little bit. It's Arizona. It's Denver. I see this game being a very run-heavy game. Both run defenses are super weak here. But obviously, there's going to be some passing on there. Am I on target here, you think? Is it going to be a run-heavy scheme?
We have the top two teams in allowing rushing yards this year, so I don't really see how it's not. I think we should get all our David Johnson shares, and I'm excited as a David Johnson owner personally this week because all of the talk around the industry, David Johnson, this, David Johnson, that. But, he's been pretty consistent, and I think tonight is the absolute breakout. What has Denver allowed the last 3 weeks? 1,000 quadrillion million yards alone. So, I don't think one of the best running backs in football. Yeah,
Sounds like
you see,
just sounds like a little bit of an exaggeration. A million quadrillion yards.
it's close, right? I think it's. Yeah, you know firsthand. Your Jets was half of that.
Dude, that was sick.
That was
sick.
half of that. So I don't think they can bottle up David Johnson all too well tonight. And unfortunately, I think the NFL product this year has been really good on Thursdays. Outside of last week, if you were if you were an Eagles fan, it was great. If you're a Giants fan, it wasn't. But the product's been great, and I think that's definitely going to stop tonight. I think it's going to be
it's going to be a snoozer.
It's going to be a gruesome game tonight. 41.5 current over under. Oh, it's going to be ugly.
Yeah, I could definitely see this turning into like that 17-10 kind of game that you're just like, ugh. Or God forbid it gets to 20-17. That would be an absolute amazement here. But yeah, you kind of ballpark it. You're looking for where these touchdowns are going to come from either team, and yeah, I think it's all on the ground. I love David Johnson in this. I love Philip Lindsay in this. You look at the numbers. Now, you were talking about giving up the most combined. So between the two teams, like Denver gives up 161 yards a game, Arizona 151. Combined, they've allowed 18 rushing touchdowns. You could sit there, you could combine the rushing touchdowns allowed by the Eagles, the Redskins, the Tampa Bay Bucks, the Chicago Bears, and the New Orleans Saints. You could combine those 5 teams, and that equals what these two teams have given up this season. So it's bad. It's really bad. And, when you look at the passing attack for both games here, or both sides of the ball, Denver doesn't have a great secondary, not by any means. But, if you got Chris Harris, who's going to kind of be, watching Larry Fitzgerald in the slot, you got Christian Kirk, you got Chad Williams, you got Ricky Seals-Jones. Those are the guys who you're looking at. But these aren't, yeah, Christian Kirk had a 75-yard touchdown. But are any of these guys like game breakers to you?
Definitely not Fitzgerald, because I really respect Chris Harris as a slot corner. I think everyone and their mother's mother is going to be on Christian Kirk tonight if you're, playing any sort of DFS. I mean, even seasonal, I think as a flex play, I think he's fine. I think there are better options. I know there were a couple questions in the chat. There were a couple questions earlier that were saying, "Oh, I have T.Y. Hilton and Christian Kirk. Like, what should I do?" Like in that situation, I think Christian Kirk would probably be the safer option because it's never good to see your wide receiver get downgraded closer to game day. So I mean, in like that situation, I think Christian Kirk is kind of like, yeah, he's the safer guy. I think in a DFS standpoint, he's probably the top wideout from the Arizona side. I know you like Williams, right?
Well, again, it's wishing, it's hoping, right. And maybe because to me, Chad Williams with everybody on Christian Kirk, it opens up Chad right. Williams as being that contrarian play that if you're playing that short slate. Like, I mean, I got a great head start with all the Packers I played, and obviously Marquise Goodwin as well. That was a nice way to kind of kick things off. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens here. That's why I went with him. I went with Chad Williams on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, I actually double tight end it with the flex, and I used Ricky Seals-Jones there. So I'm fading Christian Kirk on both sites and going from there. Now on the Denver side for the passing game here, Demaryius Thomas is supposed to get the Patrick Peterson shadow. No, so thanks. I'm off of him. Emmanuel Sanders against Budda Baker. That's actually a really nice matchup for Sanders. And if Keenum is sharp at all, then hopefully Sanders starts getting the heavy looks. John and Pemina, I don't know if this is like the cold meds talking, but he was still pretty into me using Courtland Sutton in this lineup here. So I don't know. Where are you thinking as far as the Denver targets go? And don't say the tight end because I can't pronounce his name, please.
I mean, I think I'm totally with you, and I think everyone will be with you as well. Off of Demaryius Thomas, I think it's pretty simple. Patrick Peterson has probably been the best corner. I don't know, what PFF has him rated necessarily, but from the looks of things, he's been amazing this year. So I think you're off of him. If you want to be really contrarian, sure, go ahead. I think Sanders is the guy, even if Keenum's been bad, throwing interceptions every game. The way that they've been, down in every game and forcing Keenum to throw, the yards are still piling up. Sanders has 3 games of 10 plus targets. So I think the targets are going to go to him. And if, Arizona hasn't really been great against running backs out of the backfield. 30, how many receptions? 35 receptions to running backs this year against versus Arizona. So I think, like you said, Phillip Lindsay is a excellent play out of that Denver backfield. And even if he doesn't get the rushing touches, he's gonna catch passes out of the backfield all night long.
No doubt. You want to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors here, Fanball. Guys, you want to play daily for NFL? Like NBA is cranking up too. And don't do it alone. The award-winning Playbook Pro has you covered. Fanball wants you to have it for free. How about that? How about Fanball giving you the Playbook subscription for 2 months, and all you have to do is set up an account and deposit at least $10. All right, Playbook Pro completely supports all of Fanball's tools, pricing for both NFL and NBA. So go get it for free for 2 months right now. Go to fantasyalarm.com/fanball. Deposit $10. They will give you the playbook for free for 2 months. On top of that, again, fantasyalarm.com/fanball. All right, let's hit some of the questions here in the chat because we could go around and around about tonight's game. Right. I don't know. To me, there's no interest in any of the quarterbacks. We didn't talk about Josh Rosen or Case Keenum. I don't have any reason to use either of them in daily or seasonal.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about them.
What about defense? Would you rather use the Cards defense or the Broncos defense? I'm getting a lot of defense questions this year.
I mean, maybe Arizona's because how turnover prone Case Keenum has been. I mean, it's not to say Rosen hasn't been either, but I mean, if Keenum tries to force the ball a couple times to Demaryius Thomas, I mean, We know what kind of electric player Patrick Peterson can be. So from that standpoint, I think Arizona would be the defense for me.
All right, let's hit some of the questions in the chat, starting over on YouTube. Would you drop Chris Godwin to pick up Tre'Quan Smith?
You were just talking about this off air. I mean, if you believe that Tre'Quan Smith is the new Ted Ginn, sure.
Well, the question is, all right, do you not believe that Tre'Quan Smith can be a productive wide receiver here?
I mean, I do. And how many years have we seen Ted Ginn drop a lot of passes year in, year out? And I think Tre'Quan Smith has better hands. So, yeah, I think he can. I think anyone in that system can be productive.
And see, that to me, that's the key here is that if the guy's going to get half a dozen targets in the Saints offense, I mean, you can't ignore that. You can't ignore his big playability. We saw that already with the first game that he played. And he's the number 2 wide receiver there. So why wouldn't you just, if you've got Drew Brees throwing him the ball versus being the number 3, number 4, not even Chris Godwin. He's behind Mike Evans. He's behind Deshaun Jackson. He's behind OJ Howard, Cameron Brate. He's like the 5th option on that team. So to me, it's a no-brainer here. Flex, half-point PPR, Dalvin Cook, Alex Collins, or Kerryon Johnson. The Dalvin Cook saga continues to aggravate us. Poor Chris Thomason, the beat writer for the St. Paul Pioneer Press. I mean, the dude was like, first there was a tweet that he left practice early, then everything was fine. He didn't put in a limited practice. Then it was, he didn't practice. And the official injury report says that Dalvin Cook doesn't practice. So I got issues there, obviously. Alex Collins, Kerryon Johnson. Collins in a situation here where if the Ravens were to fall behind, then they abandon the ground game. You're talking about the Saints here, and John Harbaugh, for some inane reason, likes to have Joe Flacco pass the ball 50 times a game. Or the underutilized Kerryon Johnson. Where are you?
So I really liked what Alex Collins did last week. And I think the 2 touchdowns aspect kind of puts me back in his camp. I was big on Alex Collins coming to the season. And he just kind of seems not safe, but there's some momentum behind Alex Collins. So I know Kerryon's, he logged 2 full practices in a row, but I think I'd go Collins just because who knows what Dalvin Cook is when he's ever going to play.
Yeah, no, I'm with you completely, and it bums me out too. I mean, I'm a huge Dalvin Cook owner, and I believe in him. Same. So yeah, this is pissing me off. I'm not gonna lie, it's really pissing me off, and it's killing my fantasy teams. I mean, the whole coming out of fantasy drafts being like, I got me some Dalvin Cook and Leonard Fournette. I'm so psyched about it. I'm freaking hating life beyond belief with it now. So it's killing me here. Full point PPR. Christian Garcia wants to know Matt Breida, Carlos Hyde, or Latavius Murray if Dalvin Cook doesn't play.
Murray, right? I mean, we saw what he did last week, right? I mean, we saw he got the volume last week, and we saw what he could do with the volume. I don't think it's. I'm gonna go Latavius pretty easily there.
Yeah, I agree. Here you go. More Chris Godwin stuff here. Full point PPR. Callaway or Godwin?
I really like that Browns game.
I do too.
I really like that Browns game.
I hate Callaway's hands, but I think the opportunity is going to be there again for him.
I do too. I think that game is going to be. I think it's going to be really weirdly owned to see Browns players so high owned in DFS contests this week, and but I think it's. I mean, I'm all in on the Browns this week.
I dig it. I am too. It does hurt to say. You know what? No, the most hurtful thing was that somebody legit asked me the question: would you rather own the backfield for the Titans or the backfield for the Dolphins? How do you choose between, it's like, oh no, I don't want to eat this dog shit. I'm eat this cat shit instead. Terrible, terrible. Paul H wants to know Drake or Kirk, 1 point PPR in the flex spot.
Christian Kirk is getting good volume, good attack. Christian Kirk.
Yep. Can't trust the Drake.
I know.
Can't trust the Drake. Full point PPR, James White or Tyler Boyd.
It's a good one. It's a really good one.
Yeah. Can we go to our resident Patriots expert? Can we get contact here with the triage unit inside the incubator in the ICU of Massachusetts General, John and Pemba, Cholera Boy? What do you got, man?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. You can't trust him.
No, we're talking about James. James White. We want to know James White's role this week.
I guess I'm on a little delay. James White gets all of the touches.
Would you go James White or Tyler Boyd?
James White.
All right, James White it is. There you go. John Barkley, thanks for that one. James White. Listen, I got no reason to dispute it. I've been telling a lot of people to get involved in James White. And listen, he gets the passes. Tom Brady loves getting him involved in the offense. And as much as I love Tyler Boyd, there's still that element of, well, he's got Andy Dalton throwing him the ball.
But he does have the Chiefs secondary to match up with.
Does have a very Chiefs secondary. He does. So would you go White or would you go Boyd?
He said, didn't he say flex? That's what a question. Obviously flex. I'd go White, but I'm just saying I'm being devil's advocate. If you are set on Boyd and like you want to take a stand, I don't think you can go wrong with either player, but I would go White.
Exactly. I don't think you can go wrong with either one, and I think that the difference in points could be negligible here. Full point PPR. He's got Trey Burton. This is John Barkley again. He's got Trey Burton and Jared Cook. Does he drop one of them to pick up my boy, Austin Hooper?
I mean, your boy has been pretty dang good the last couple of weeks, huh? I mean, I don't know if you saw the tight end coach, but I even gave you a little shout out when I wrote Austin Hooper up this week.
Everybody just gives me a shout out when it's Austin Hooper.
I mean, the targets are undeniable. I mean, Ridley and Sanu are a little banged up. I think it could be another huge week for Hooper. Rest of the season, who was it, Burton or who?
Burton or Cook. Do you drop one of them for Hooper?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of mouths to feed in Chicago.
There's a lot of mouths to feed in Atlanta, too. Here's the thing. See, to me, this is like splitting hairs. Like, How do you decide over this? This is not, I mean, we're looking at Hooper. I'll tell you what. I would say no, because if you look at the Falcons' second half of the schedule after the bye week, they're on the road a ton, and Matt Ryan is going to suck on the road. He has sucked on the road so far.
Yeah, does suck on the road.
So there you go. So he's like the new Big Ben Roethlisberger, and you don't need to pick up Hooper. So I'll go with that. Moving over to Periscope here. Do I drop Lamar Miller for Traquan Smith?
I mean, depending on your running back depth, maybe. What has he done this year? He scored one or two touchdowns. I don't really see any stock in Lamar Miller and nothing on the rise for the immediate future. So yeah, why? I mean, if you have depth at running back, sure.
Yeah, if you've got the depth, if Lamar Miller isn't your third best running back, then yes, you can make that move. At KS Gill 1989 wants to know, should I start Philip Lindsay Thursday night curse? What Thursday night curse? The Thursday night curse that had Alshon Jeffrey catch 2 touchdowns last week? The Thursday night curse that saw the Rams and the Vikings just slug it out like a couple of heavyweight prize fighters?
Or Saquon Barkley was also pretty good last week.
Yeah. What did he do? What did he do? Only almost became, though, he was 1 yard shy of being the first ever New York Giant to rush and receive 100 yards in a game.
No big deal.
No big deal. So, yeah, he's definitely cursed. Start Philip Lindsay. I think you'll be okay with it. I think so. Half point PPR. 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. James White Austin Eckler, Tyler Boyd, Taylor Gabriel, or Traquan Smith?
White and Boyd.
Thank you. So smart. So smart.
So my mom tells me.
All right. Full point PPR, Taylor Gabriel or Sterling Shepard? What do you think of this? What's going to happen with the Giants this week, dude?
I mean, I'm going to go Taylor Gabriel. I really love his production the last couple weeks. And the Giants I don't love Atlanta's secondary at all. Like, they're not very good, but like, how can we trust anything the Giants are doing? They're not protecting Eli. When he gets protection, he's not throwing the ball downfield. It's just a disaster. I think Gabriel, there's just more upside because who knows who's going to get the targets in New York. Other than Saquon, there's nobody safe. Nobody's safe.
Oh, it's funny you should say that because somebody just wrote in the question of, would you start Evan Engram or Trey Burton? Now, please note that he's already starting 2 Chicago Bears here. Don't know if that means anything. Start Evan Engram. Like, there's not even a rationale here. You're not investing in 3 Bears right. in this offense here. A tight end, a wide receiver, and a running back. Really, are the Bears going to put up 21 points on the Patriots?
Trubisky had his they had their 1 week where you start 3 Bears already. You missed that boat.
If we think John Impemba's on his deathbed right now, imagine if Mitch Trubisky threw for like 350 yards and 4 touchdowns on his Patriots.
I think he will. He was on my QB watch list. I'm a big fan of the Bears this week against that Patriots defense.
Oh, see, is this your genuine pessimism here? Because I distinctly remember somebody saying that the Dolphins could also expose some weaknesses in your Patriots.
Yeah, didn't you see that final drive when Brock Osweiler hit Frank Gore for a touchdown?
That was fucking amazing.
It was.
Oh my God, you're too funny. All right, let's go over to Facebook here. We'll rattle up some of these questions. Let's see. Standard, pick 2, John Brown, Crabtree, or Ridley?
Pick 2, Ridley, Crabtree. This is standard, so Crabtree and Ridley.
Crabtree and Ridley for me as well. What's up, Jim Phillips? He says, what's up, Howard? He doesn't say hi to you, James.
Thanks, Jim. Babyface doesn't matter, I guess.
Babyface gets no love. Jimmy wants to know if he should flex Emmanuel Sanders tonight.
I think you should flex Emmanuel Sanders unless, you didn't give us another option, but you should probably do it anyway.
Right. Yeah. I don't see the harm in it.
Right.
I mean, unless your other option is maybe Julio Jones, but
right. I mean, then some.
I'll be okay flexing Sanders there. Standard League. If Hilton doesn't play, Sammy Watkins or Keelan Cole.
Jesus, neither. I know you like the Jaguars' offense this week.
I like their passing game because their running game is all banged up and hurt.
So, I mean, Keelan Cole maybe safer, Watkins for upside?
Yeah, I mean, Watkins against Cincinnati here. Does that do anything for you?
No, but that's why Keelan Cole would be safer.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, you know what? Cincinnati, you look at some of their DVOA numbers. It's not bad. I mean, they are bad. They're not bad for Sammy Watkins if you're digging on Sammy at all. So, yeah, but I'm still gonna say I'll go against Sammy here, and I'll go with Keelan Cole. I do. All right, Daryl Rule wants to know. He's got Hyde, Lindsey, Fitz, or Evan Engram. He needs 2 for a PPR flex. I'm gonna say Lindsey and Hyde.
Backs? Yeah, I was going both running backs as well.
Yep, me too. Christian Garcia, full point PPR, needs 1. Breida, Hyde, or Lat Murray. Oh, we got this.
Yeah, same question.
He's double dipping, dude. He's double dipping. Christian Garcia, he's double dipping. He's on YouTube. He's on Facebook now. Come on, man. I'm ignoring Kristen's questions here. Drop Fitz to pick up Kirk.
I'm sure.
I honestly don't see why you wouldn't. There's no reason. PPR, need one running back. Thompson, Hyde, or Barber?
Thompson, Hyde, Barber. Thompson, Hyde, Barber. Hyde?
Hyde for you?
Yep. I mean, I like that game. I like that game a lot. I think it's going to match the total. So I'm going to go Hyde.
All right. For Carlos Hyde, the carpet matches the drapes here. I was giving some thought to Thompson, but listen, man, I can definitely be swayed. I mean, these guys, it's all like interchangeable cogs in a machine right now.
I'd like to see Thompson get back on the field for a week before I mean, he's been injured for a little bit, so I think Hyde is he's healthier and better matchup.
I can dig it. I can definitely dig it. Let's see. Colin wonders if we might touch on Traquan Smith, whether or not we see him, whether we take him versus similar types, Kiki Kute, Sterling Shepard, etc. I think we've already answered this. I think we're both in the mindset that he's the number 2 wide receiver.
Cameron Meredith.
What's that, John?
Cameron Meredith.
Take it to the grave, baby.
Oh my God.
Right, I heard the echo. I'm not going to go Cam Meredith. I will say Traquan Smith. And I would use Traquan Smith over Kiki Kute. And I would probably use him over Sterling Shepard. Too.
Yep, agreed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Hyde. Oh, we got that one already. That one was already asked and answered. Ridley or Gabriel is a flex play tonight. Not tonight, but this week.
Ridley.
Yeah, if he's healthy, which I think he was able to put in the practice today. Yep. I like that. Taylor Gabriel, though, 2 straight 100-yard games here. And impressive. Apparently John is crapping on his Patriots. Do we give some more thought to that? Do we go to John here for this one?
Yeah, break the tie.
John, break the tie here.
Who are we going with? Gabriel and who?
Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I think Gabriel. I mean, the Patriots have a difficult time with those small, fast receivers. So, I think him and Cohen are in big spots this week.
Ooh, all right. There you go. So, Gabriel it is. All right. Breeze or Winston?
The number 2 fantasy quarterback in football.
James Winston, then? That would be silly to go with the number 2 overall fantasy quarterback.
That would. Oof. It's a tough one.
George Kittle or Trey Burton, PPR?
I love George Kittle in really all formats.
Okay, perfect. Oh, man, wow. Ooh, geez, we just got a shit ton of questions here. Ready to rapid fire? Here we go.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, 1 running back, 1 flex. Hines, Drake, Ito Smith, Curse.
Ito Smith, and you picked the second one. I heard you touting Jermaine Curse on the show today.
Yeah, PPR, I'd go with Curse, especially if Terrell Pryor's banged up. Do I play Demaryius Thomas tonight or Mack, Ito Smith, or Mostert, Trey Burton? He only gets 1. You don't want to play Demaryius Thomas tonight. I'd play Marlon Mack in this matchup here.
Yep.
He's going to get those touches. Need to pick up a defense. Colts or Redskins?
Colts.
Colts against Buffalo. Demaryius Thomas, Marlon Mack. Why do you keep putting these same questions in here, guys? Come on. Ask it once. I'm keeping it. Flacco or Trubisky?
John has already answered that a few times. We're going to go Trubisky here.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, John thinks that Trubisky's going to dominate his Patriots. Flacco against the Saints, dude. Got to throw it 56 times.
Well, I like Alex Collins. I think Alex Collins is going to punch a few in and take away from some of the from the Flacco work here.
I like it. All right, let's see. Do we got any more? Full point PPR. Would you trade Kareem Hunt for Antonio Brown? My running backs are Drake, Lindsey, Hyde, Clement, and Coleman. My wide receivers are Devontae Adams, Christian Kirk, Hogan, and Crowder.
No. I think his best running back after was Kenyon Drake. I think was that after Kareem Hunt. So I'm gonna have to go with no there.
Fitz, Lamar Miller, or Alfred Blue?
Lamar Miller, I guess.
Yeah, that's spelled BLEW, by the way. Cohen or Hyde with Todd Gurley in the main slate?
Tariq Cohen.
Tariq Cohen, there you go. Bortles, Flacco, or Baker Mayfield?
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, you like that game? I like that game as well. No question about it. Ito Smith, Hines, or Eckler over Howard? No.
No, thank you.
No, I wouldn't even turn that one over to James. So, all right, look at that. So we whipped through the questions. So, guys, because our lovely producer, John Impemba, is like at his deathbed right now, you should see the sweat teeming off of him. He's got like the water bottle strapped to the top of his head. He's got the thermometer sticking out. We're going to put him to bed, let him go get some rest. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to the chat room over at fantasyalarm.com. So you can hit me up in the chat if you got some questions here. Let's stick to some Thursday night questions. Like if your players play on Thursday night, ask away. But if they don't play until Sunday, then there's really no point in making that decision right here, right now, when you still have 2 more days of practices to go. So keep that in mind. Be smart, be sensible, and then you can enjoy your Thursday night. James, any final last thoughts for you?
No, I'm good. I'll be in the NBA chat for the next half hour.
All right. You NBA chat it. I'll NFL chat it. We'll meet you in the middle. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. This has been the Fantasy Alarm live stream. For James Grande, John Impemba, I'm Howard Bender. We'll catch you next time.
Later, guys.